On Motoring Forum this week, we have our motorcycle riders on the spotlight as we tackle a current burning issue regarding alleged discrimination and harassment of their ranks by the police and traffic authorities. We have as guest this week Mr. Jobert Bolaños, head of the Secretariat of the Riders of the Philippines, to give us some insights into this issue. Hello, Mr. Bolaños, and welcome to Motoring Today.
Hello, Butch, and to all the viewers of Motoring Today.
Kindly give us a brief background about what the Riders of the Philippines is all about and your group's objectives.
Well, the Riders of the Philippines is a conglomeration of several nationwide groups and local clubs from different parts of the country. We came together because we thought that it would be best to have one umbrella to speak on behalf of all the grievances, all the concerns and issues from the riding community towards the government. So we can have one name that will represent the entire community.
Having said that, what do you think makes your organization relevant to the populace?
Well, number one, the motorcycling community has no representation in government, and we don't see it as an immediate need currently. We don't even feel that government representation is needed at this point, because what's happening is we are being identified, tagged, and the government recognizes the organizations that represent the communities that speak for the riders in this country. There are about over 12 million motorcycles running on the streets today. And with that said, what we have for ROTP is to gather all the clubs and all the organizations under this community and give them a voice. So here, we don't really claim or represent anyone. It's just that we echo the voice of the people so that they can air their concerns to the government.
A present issue that involves motorcycle riders is regarding the discrimination and harassment that your ranks allegedly suffer from the authorities. What's your take on this?
Well, there's a lot of misinterpretation of the laws. That's the main issue that we face right now. Enforcement tend to read the laws in a different manner, and they implement it in a different manner. Take, for example, the recent crackdown on the use of auxiliary lights. Per LTO, auxiliary lights is allowed given that you follow a certain set of provisions. Now, until you violate those provisions, the violation will be merited through an issuance of a ticket or a TOP, and then they confiscate their license if it's LTO or if it's police, HPG, or whoever it is that apprehends you. What HPG did recently was they started confiscating items that's allowed by the LTO. So there's lack of coordination. So other than that, there are issues on aftermarket parts that they are trying to regulate, but there are no clear set of rules that govern the said parts. So there's a lot of things happening on that side. In terms of criminality, we all know that the motorcycle is the favorite tool or escape vehicle of criminals. But it doesn't give anyone the right to profile all motorcycle riders as possible suspects. We are innocent until proven guilty. And we get that sense of discrimination when ordinances are being passed, passing the burden onto the innocent riders, when regulations are put out that reduce the amount of protection on our heads because they want to see our faces. But in reality, when there's a crime committed, whether or not they have a cover on their face, whether or not they wear a helmet or a mask, these criminals will do the crime and they're hardly even caught. So it's not a matter of reducing, the cover that we have on our faces. They're sacrificing our safety for security, and that's not even fair. So these are some of the discrimination that we have been receiving from enforcement, from legislation. That's why ROTP was put up, so that we can face these issues and give them what our side is and our position on these matters are.
Tell us, how are you dealing with these reported discrimination and harassment, both on enforcement and legislation, and what are your group's move to stop these?
Well, again, we have been recognized by Congress, so we regularly attend meetings with them, public hearings, and we make ourselves involved in on the side of local government whenever they hold public hearings on legislation towards motorcycle riders. We always attend and give out our position. Of course, our position is not just based on mere opinion. We check with our Bill of Rights, we check with our Constitution, and we use all legal matters to explain our side or to defend our side from these legislations. We understand that there is a need to enforce policies to protect the majority, but still we are part of that majority as motorcycle riders who only use motorcycles to get from point A to point B in hopes that, you know, we get there faster. That does not give anyone the right, not even the government, to say that they can regulate the use of motorcycles so that they can control crime. Ang kasalanan ni Pedro ay hindi kasalanan ni Juan.
Having mentioned about the Congress entry into the issue, some legislators have reportedly committed to come up with resolutions to look into these claims on discrimination and harassment against motorcycle riders. What is your group's reaction to this? And are you looking forward to anything that could possibly happen after the filing of the resolution?
Riders of the Philippines have yet to present our full position on all the issues that we are facing. But we appreciate the efforts of the good senator in promoting equality throughout all the motorists and road users. No, you can't just apply one law on one section of the road users and not pay attention to the rest. It has to apply to everyone. So the main gist of what we're fighting for really is equality. But as far as the problems are concerned, the community is willing to cooperate and even work with the government on these issues. But instead of putting down regulation after regulation, we would rather set up programs wherein we can give ourselves as volunteers rather than just let the government put down regulations. That's number one, unfair. Number two, it segregates us. And number three, it promotes an air of discrimination.
You recently staged a unity ride for equality amongst motorcycle riders. How has the ride been, and how have the people reacted to this? And are there several moves in the offing?
Well, the May 27 Unity Ride was a huge success. We were able to convey our message to the President. The main purpose of the ride was to deliver a letter to Malacanang. That's the reason why we were able to enter the Peace Arc and get into Mendiola. No other group has done this because, first and foremost, ROTP is not an anti-administration group. We are here in aid of legislation. So we called upon the President, the Office of the President, the Senate, Congress, and every LGU that has come up with laws. And we presented ourselves through this unity ride in hopes that they notice us in a show of hands or in a show of numbers. So far, the reaction has been very, very positive. We've received calls from IAC, we've received invitations from departments such as MMDA, LTO, PNP, HPG, and we've engaged Congress and Senate also in pushing the discussions further so that we can address the issues that we all face. So it's all been positive, and the May 27 event has been gathering reactions everywhere. And, you know, just like right now, Motoring Today has taken notice of what we're doing, and that's why we're talking to you right now, Butch.
That's great to hear. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Bolaños. Before we end, Do you have any message to your fellow riders and the public and those who are supposedly discriminating against you?
Well, for the riders, number one, we have the law. Okay, the law is on our side, but we have to make sure that we follow the law, we don't break them, and we have to give respect in order for us to receive respect. So, number one, we have to ride with discipline. Number two, we have to ride with an air of responsibility and accountability on our shoulders, because riding on the streets is a privilege. Okay, it is not a right but a privilege. And for our other road users, just be aware that there are motorcycles right beside you, behind you, in front of you. So what we want to do here is to share the road with you. I hope you share the road with us also. And for the people who are trying to push legislation down the throats of the riders, there are other options, there are other programs that we can do to face these problems. Rather than pushing regulation down our throats, we can act on cooperation and volunteerism, because we are ready to help you out. You don't have to put chains or strangle us with laws that violate the equality of our fellow riders.
Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you very much, Butch. Happy motoring.
That was Mr. Jobert Bolaños, head of the Secretariat of the Riders of the Philippines, our guest this week on Motoring Today's Motoring Forum, courtesy of Suzuki Philippines.
I'm gonna miss you.
I'll miss you too.
So, why are you back?
I didn't want to miss you.